Digby, the red engine, loves to prove how very useful he is. He always feels the fact that he is a subtle tank engine with smart red paint. Digby was a kind engine, and sometimes the other engines could tease him about his strength due to the fact that he was also a strong engine who tries his hardest. But no matter what, Digby continues to prove his worth on the Western Valley Railway. And no one is prouder of him than his controller, Miss Edwards. One day, Digby was delivering workmen to the quarry. Sandy was working there. She had a huge delivery of stone to take to the ballast yards. "Hello, Digby." "Hello, Sandy. I'm very busy today. I'm going to have to make 2 trips with these stone freight cars." Digby looked at a long line of freight cars. Then an idea flew into his funnel. "Why don't we save you the time and I'll help you take the freight cars? They're very heavy. Are you sure?" "Oh yes. Long ago, I used to be able to pull my coaches and freight cars at the same time. I'm sure I could still do that now." "Are you sure, Digby?" "I'm positive, driver. Besides, I've pulled heavy trains many times." "If you're sure you can do it, that's fine by me." And that was that. Digby and Sandy agreed to work together. Sandy buffered up to 20 freight cars. "There are 10 left, Digby. Do you think you could pull that many?" "Of course. Don't worry, Sandy." Digby and Sandy set off with their heavy loads. But as they puffed along, Digby soon found himself running short of steam. "I am much stronger than I was, but I am no less determined." Taffy and Heather were surprised to see Digby and Sandy pulling the heavy ballast freight cars. "Are you sure you can manage all those at once, Digby?" "I could be your back engine if you want, Digby." "No, thank you, but thanks for the offer." Digby's driver was getting worried about Digby as he wheezed on. Digby soon started to fall behind Sandy, who was stronger and faster than Digby. Sandy was also worried about Digby, but didn't want to hurt his feelings by saying Digby didn't have to keep puffing with the heavy freight cars. Kyle was shunting some empty freight cars into some sidings to clear the way for the other engines. As he did, he heard Sandy approaching. Sandy whistled hello cheerfully. "Digby is right behind me, Kyle." Kyle looked and listened, but Digby wasn't right behind Sandy at all, and soon found out he was lagging far behind. "Digby, why don't you leave some of those freight cars in these sidings? Then you could come back for the rest." But Digby didn't want to give up part way, and so he declined. "No, thank you, Kyle. I can do it just fine." Kyle and Digby's driver were not so sure, but didn't want to upset Digby. Finally, Sandy arrived at the ballast yards and waited patiently for Digby to deliver his share of the freight cars. But Digby was far behind. His whistle ached as did his axles, and his face was getting very red. "I can do it! I can do it! I can do it!" And at long last, Digby did do it. He arrived at the ballast yards with all of his freight cars. "Well done, Digby. Thank you for your help." "No problem at all." He was tired, but felt proud of himself. "You did well, Digby." "Thank you, driver." Then Digby saw what time it was on the yard clock. "Bust my buffers! I still need to collect the workmen to take them home." Digby rushed away with his coaches to collect the workers. But He was in such a hurry to get to the quarry in time that he forgot to refill on coal and water after his exhausting delivery. Halfway up to the quarry, Digby began to feel very weak, and soon enough, he came to a stop. He had run out of coal and water. Oh no! Digby's driver telephoned to inform Miss Edwards. Taffy was sent to collect the workmen in Digby's place, and Heather was sent to take Digby to the engine works to have his worn parts examined in case of repair. The workmen decided that Digby only needed some rest and a bit of repair on his axles. Miss Edwards arrived and saw that Digby was looking miserable. He had let the workmen down just to prove he could pull a heavy train. Digby, I've heard how you helped Sandy today, and that is why you wore yourself out of coal and water. I am proud of you for wanting to help your friends, but you do not need to prove yourself as a real useful engine by taking on more than you can manage. I do not want my real useful red engine to make himself unwell. Digby smiled faintly. He knew Miss Edwards was right. And from that day on, Digby took care of himself and helped his friends to the best of his ability, but not beyond his capabilities. After all, his driver wouldn't let him do that twice.